Okay, so just gonna make sure you can see. You can see here. I think you can see everything. So we're gonna do a good Mexican cooking class today. I couldn't find my usual tripod, so I'm trying something different, but I feel like I'm not got the camera on the perfect angle, and though it is what it is. So we're just gonna give it a minute. Hey Rose, new leader Rose, woohoo! Hey Angela. So we're gonna do Mexican today. We're gonna do simplified Mexican, which I love the new simplified class. I actually did the CEO simplified classes when I got back from the trip to Vegas, and my group, most of the people were over 70. Thanks, Ange. Most of the people were over 70 at my class, and I had a $750 class. So it was crazy. I'm like, okay, simplified really does work. So what we're going to do today is Mexican. I'm so excited. We're going to talk a little bit about sponsoring as well. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in. I'm going to pretend Rose is my hostess today. So I would have Rose introduce me and how she met me and how come she was excited to have an Epicure class. And that's something I hadn't been doing, and I realized when the CEO talked about somebody was introducing her, I was like, oh yeah, that should totally, why am I introducing myself? So now my host introduces me, and it actually completely changes the relationship with the guests. It's very fun, and I love doing that, so I'm going to continue to do that. So Rose has introduced me, and I'm going to say, hey everyone, I'm so excited you came to Rose's Mexican cooking class today. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be short and sweet though. We're going to cook our whole meal in 15 minutes. So I'm going to tell you a few things, and then we're all going to jump into the kitchen. Thank you all for washing up as you came in. Because we were going to be eating with our hands, we had everybody wash up first. So I'll stop, and then I'll direct at the camera to explain what we did earlier. Now, frankly, I'm the personality type that if I don't have a catalog or something to look through, my mind is going to wander off. Like if I'm not fully engaged in what's happening, my mind is going to beetle off somewhere, and I'll be making grocery lists. So for that reason, I give catalogs. A lot of times people don't. You do what feels comfortable for you. When I do give catalogs, I don't find that the average person is sitting there looking through the catalog, and though if they are, that's their personality style, so I'm okay with it. So I have a sticky note that I give them with a pen, and they can just sort of track everything. I prefer to give this than an invoice. I find that on an invoice, people edit more, people, scratch things off, and then they're like, oh, I need a new invoice, and it's like, you know what, I don't really need one anyway. The system's gonna allow me to do my order. So I just give them something like that. And again, do what you're comfortable with. Okay, so today we're going to make Mexican. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things about our brand new catalog. Now I know some of you have been to an Epicure class before. Can I see hands up again of who's been? Okay, fabulous. How many of you went to like a dip party? More of like somebody stood around and we just talked about dip for half an hour, and that's what you did. Okay, so some of you knew us as a dip party. So I'm so excited because I've been in this company for a number of years, and I love the cooking class concept. I found that with the dip party concept, people didn't really understand how to use their product as much. So I love that you're walking out of here with a hands-on active use for what you're going to try here tonight. So hopefully you all just had a really small dinner or a big snack, so you have room to taste what we're going to sample. I'm going to start on the beginning of your catalog. Actually, sorry, back up. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my company and what I love about it. We are a family-run company. That is our president and CEO right there. I love that our president travels around the globe and gets new recipes and ideas, and then our CEO brings things to life in our home offices in Victoria. So we're actually a Canadian company right from Victoria, which is very rare in the home party industry. And check out this robust never ever list. These are all the things that we refuse to put in our products. These are the things the government allows us to put in food. How crazy is that? And we say, you know what, it's not necessary, and we're not gonna do it. So that's our never ever list. So anybody you know in your life that has allergies, is celiac, really watches what they eat, please make sure to connect with them and let them know about Epicure so they know the options that they have out there. Now, what I love is this Switch the Six collection. Now, for all of you watching this, on my team, Switch the Six. This is a $60 collection. You can get this free, like 100% free, by putting in one class by the 14th. How insane is that? I know Terry's already done it. Woohoo, Terry. She's already got her cooking class in. She's the first one to earn her free $60 Switch the 6. So we're going to talk about some ideas how to get some classes going. We've got a thread going on our Facebook page. So let's see what's in here. So Switch the 6, oh, mine has fallen apart. So just maybe check your box when you get to the class to make sure it doesn't look like that, because I had it sideways in my bag and I didn't realize that I'd done that. So in the Switch the 6 is the chocolate pudding, and I'm sorry I don't have any in mind today to show you because we ate them all because they're so delicious. Also in there is mac and cheese. This is out of the world good. It's my favorite popcorn seasoning. It has none of those, you know, nasty food colorings, and it's absolutely delicious. Also in here we have vegetable or chicken broth. This stuff, where's my, I have it, I thought I was ready. Sorry, I had a comparison sheet. So I have the laminated, the package of the yellow chicken broth, just the no-name one from the store. And I hadn't actually looked at the sodium milligrams until a class last week, and somebody looked at it and just yelled. It was quite funny. So it's over 900 milligrams of sodium for this standard chicken broth that many of you might be buying, and Epicure offers you a delicious, healthy alternative. For about the same cost per serving, you can have only 120 milligrams for a cup of broth, and you get the beautiful health benefits of nutritional yeast. There's a whole section in the catalog on superfoods, and this is one of them. One of the nice things about B12, or nutritional yeast, is it's loaded with B12, which is great for people. B12 is a major deficiency. Another thing in here is fajita. Now we're also going to showcase the fajita in the Mexican collection. 3 onion. This is a go-to in my kitchen. My 3 onion I use for everything. Anytime I don't want to chop an onion, hello, that's kind of always, I'll throw in a tablespoon of this. I have a funny story. So I went to Haiti and I was following my mom's cook trying to figure out this delicious dish that she made. I followed her around the kitchen and she opened my mom's bottle of 3 onion and dumped it into this Haitian food, so that I was able to say to my mom, okay, remember how you said your 3 onion was going all the time and you weren't using it? Her Haitian cook had figured out it was a great way to not have to cut an onion. So, excuse me, I still have a bit of a lung thing from some perfumes in Vegas. Also in there is creamy ranch, makes a delicious salad dressing, a delicious dip. This, a little sprinkle of that on your gravy, takes your gravy to a whole another level. You'll never have regular gravy again, trust me on that. So that's Switch the 6. It's a great place if you're new to Epicure to start with a bit of a pantry makeover. Now, what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to be cooking out of our good Mexican meal kit. So we actually have 7 meal kits. We have Indian, Thai, Greek. There's a whole lot. I'll send around some recipe cards for you in a minute. You can check those out on page 10 and 12, whatever that is of the catalog. I don't know my new pages yet. So in our Mexican collection that we're going to use today, we're going to use our Poco salsa. So with this mix, we're going to make a delicious fresh salsa in just minutes. Also in here is guacamole. So we're going to mix this with a couple of avocados and have a delicious guacamole right away. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, avocado is one of those things that people really love it, and some people hate it. And even if you hate avocado, I will almost guarantee you that with our guacamole mix in it, avocado is to die for. And of course, it's great for you as well. Also in here, there is fajita seasoning. This is a go-to in my house. We don't only use this for fajitas. We use this for everything. This is my daughter's secret spice, where she used to do like these little cooking things with her friends. The fajita is what she would use for that. And then the last item in here is our nacho cheese dip mix. So we could mix that with a little bit of cream cheese and make a delicious nacho cheese mix. And though my favorite way to use this is in rice. And somebody's gonna walk in my house any minute. I can hear somebody trying to unlock the front door. So we might have the dog cycle walk. So the nacho cheese is my favorite in rice. It's absolutely divine. So that's our good Mexican meal kit. And I've got some recipe cards here. So these are the recipe cards from the other meal kits. We've got vegan, we've got Greek, we have got Italian, we've got curry or Thai, and we've got Mexican and Indian. So that's our meal kits there. I'm gonna pass those cards around. Feel free to look through them so you can get ideas of what comes in the other meal kits and how you can use them. And then for everybody looking at this going, you know what, this is like super fun and I really want to have my friends over to showcase some quick meal ideas for them, here's the menus of other classes that I'm offering this season. We have got this Mexican that we're doing right now. I've got a Goddess Buddha bowl, which is a delicious make-ahead salad bowl. We've got a meatless Monday if you're trying to incorporate more meatless meals. We've got a You Gotta Thai this, and it's got our delicious Thai peanut stir fry and a cucumber salad. And then I do a brunch in 30 minutes, which has got a smoothie, some huevos rancheros. So that's our other menu. So as you're watching here tonight, I want you to watch what I do, and you can see it's really basic. If you've ever thought about making a little bit of extra money, this would be a great way to do it. You're gonna see that really I'm just sort of stirring and leading the stirring. That's pretty much my job, and I love it. I get to help people load their kitchens for free, and I get to help people make a great side income or even a living. Now, in this case, I wanted to show you with frozen chicken because sometimes you get to your host's house, and like me, she didn't plan ahead and her chicken's frozen. Don't worry about that. That's totally fine. So in this case, I'm doing it from frozen from you. You can see they're frozen. I gotta wash my hand. So we're actually gonna quickly thaw this in our steamer. So now, how many of you have one of our purple cookware pieces at home? Anybody have any of the Epicure purple silicone pieces? Fabulous. Oh yeah, you mentioned earlier you had the small steamer. What are you using that for? So as people have come in, I've chatted them up. I find out what they know about Epicure. I found out what their favorite tools are. And then I try to bring them in and have them share from their perspective as I'm doing my class. Getting the guests to share is highly effective because people sort of believe people they know or strangers about a product more than they would even believe me. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this in the microwave in our beautiful multi-purpose steamer. Now how this guy comes, it actually comes with this fantastic tray, and what I love about this tray is you can make potato chips on it, you can use it to steam pierogies, so I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to throw this in the microwave and let it start thawing, and then I'll tell you all the different things I do with my steamer. Okay, so how many of you have thawed your chicken or your ground beef in the microwave and then you end up with like this weird rubber food that you can't eat, right? That's probably happened to all of you. That's what happens in a typical microwave thawing situation. And then, you know, you chuck that part in the garbage or you give it to your dogs. The nice thing about the steamer is you don't need to do that. When we thaw in the microwave, if it cooks a little bit, it's not going to become rubber because it's in the magic steamer. So here's my smaller steamer. They come in 2 different sizes. With the tray in the big steamer, so here's a couple of cool things I love about my steamer. My things I do the most in my steamer would be steaming vegetables, like broccoli's done in 2 minutes. Steaming rice, basic rice water, double water to rice, and my rice is done in 10 minutes. Like seriously, 10 minutes, start to finish, my rice is complete. So there's a little chart. You're gonna get a fantastic chart with your steamer, and I need glasses, so I made a chart that's a little bit larger, and I actually just have mine. I recommend you just stick it on the inside of your cupboard door and write your own microwave timing on your chart. So you'll get a copy of this in your email. So the tray though, you can use your mandolin. You can use your mandolin and thinly sliced potatoes and make chips. That's one use for your tray. Another use for your tray is things like pot stickers or pierogies. So if I was doing pot stickers, I would put 1 inch or 2 of water, maybe half an inch, no, not 1 inch or 2, half an inch to 1 inch of water on the bottom of my steamer. I'd set my tray in, I'd cover it with pot stickers, and I'd throw it in the microwave for about 6 minutes, and my pot stickers would be perfectly steamed. And then if I wanted to crisp them up, I can toss them in the pan for a moment. Now with pierogies, we love our pierogies with bacon, so I actually put bacon on the bottom, chopped bacon on the bottom of my steamer, put the tray on top, put the pierogies on top, and the moisture from the bacon as it cooks steams the pierogies. Has anybody ever tried that out there in consultant land? It's fantastic. So, that is 2 minutes of thawing, so I can show you what I've got here. So we've got a little bit of white spots on our chicken, but we're not going to worry about that because, like I said earlier, it's not overcooked and rubber like it might normally be. And there's my little knife. So I'm just going to cut these into a few pieces. Now I happen to use chicken tenders. I get my chicken tenders from Costco. chicken tenders, when you buy them, have that sort of weird little skin piece, right? If nobody's ever bought them before, you gotta take that sort of skin piece off because it's tough. Now, normally, of course, I would not be doing this with my host. If I got there and her meat was frozen, don't mind me, I'm just throwing this weird skin pieces to the dogs, and her meat was frozen, I would thaw it right away as I got to the class, because I like to have the meat pre-cut and sitting in the steamer waiting for the prep. So I'm just going to quickly cut these into little strips. Now, the reason I like to buy the tenders is because they cook so fast, and I'm kind of that person that suddenly I'm like, oh, I need to make dinner and I have nothing, and chicken tenders can basically cook through in about 2 minutes. So just cutting these. So I tell people I do steamed chicken for lunches all the time. I might make myself a nourished bowl full of vegetables, and then I can just pop in from the office at lunchtime, throw 4 chicken tenders in my steamer for 1 minute, take the weird little piece of skin off, throw some seasonings in, put them back in for about 1 more minute, and I will have 4 pieces of perfectly cooked, juicy, tender chicken. So now I have got my chicken cut into pieces. This would normally be done, right, as I said, as I arrived. I would have it sitting in the fridge, and I would pull it out and we would simply add to it. The beauty of that is that I don't have to clean my knife in the middle of my demo like I'm doing right now. And I can just rock and roll. Now I've cleaned my knife, I need a new cutting board. So all we're gonna add to our fajita steaks, we're actually gonna add a pepper. But before we do that, I wanna start on our guacamole and our salsa, because they're just extraordinary and they're so delicious. Now, I would be bringing up a guest. So I would say, okay, so who wants to come up and make our guacamole? Of course, as we talked about earlier, cooking is mainly just stirring. This one's gonna require a little mashing. I'm just gonna cut these open for you. Now, I tend to cut the avocados open for the people because I had a person do this to try to get the pit out of her avocado, and I just about died. So I never want to see that. So I usually just do this part for them and then hand it off to them. So we're going to pretend I'm a new person. So Sally, we're just going to scoop the flesh out of the avocado. Now, if your host has 1, that's totally fine. I'm doing 2 today because my family's going to eat this after, and we love guacamole. So here's a trick with your avocado if you didn't know that yet. When you're in the store and you're wondering, they're brown, but you're not sure if they're ripe, of course, give them a feel. If they feel really soft, they're definitely overripe. But you peel off the little end, and you can see there that it's green. So that means the flesh inside is still green. If I peeled that off and it looked brown, that would mean my avocado was already rotten. So I wouldn't be buying that avocado. So that's a little trick for finding your avocados. So do I still have anybody here with me? So there we go, another beautiful avocado. We're just going to scoop our flesh out here. Oh, I haven't had this nice of avocados in a while. Hey, Tracy! Can't get that pit out. There we go. So the guacamole is so easy. I'll just have you read the recipe right on the back, is what I would say to the guests. And we're going to use our fantastic, I need a paper towel. We're going to use our fantastic meat separator. So our meat separator, it's perfect for making your ground beef, crumbling it up, but I also use it for my avocado. Yay, I'm glad I'm making you hungry, Danica. So this is going to mash up my avocado beautifully. I'm just going to turn it a little bit, stir it around. You know, I couldn't do this in a prep bowl, so I know some people try. I'm much too messy of a cook. I love my prep bowls. I'm going to use them for a couple other things. And I'm sorry, I know I'm making noise. But it's going to be kind of loud in here. So we've pretty much got a nicely mushed bowl of avocado already. So I just want to get everything off of here. Okay, so we are pretty much ready. All we're going to do is throw in a couple tablespoons. And I tell people, you know what the jar says 3? You're probably going to get away with just 2 for your avocado. Now, how many people use fresh lemon or lime juice at home? Show of hands. Okay, fabulous. Do you have a citrus press at home, Susan? Okay, would you mind coming up here and testing this one out for us? Thank you so much. So that's how I get people involved, is when you ask them to come up here and test something out for you, they do. Like, it's really, people are not like, ee. And usually you know in advance as people start to scrub up hands who's excited to join. So I have this teeny tiny little lemon. It's like, or lime, it's the tiniest lime I've seen in a long time. The beautiful thing about our citrus press is it gives you two sides. So you've got your larger fruit, your lemon would go in here. If you had a teeny tiny lemon, you could put it in your lime side. Now the idea of the smaller bowl is it holds it more securely. And you gotta see here, I put it in upside down, which is completely counterintuitive, right? Normally it's the other way. You normally think to put it that way. And you certainly can, but you don't get as much juice out. So what you're gonna see is I really want it seated properly. We're gonna give it a squeeze. And like really, it's like, look how easy that was. I didn't even squeeze my lime around to soften it up. Now I wanna show you what this does. Look at that. It's basically inverted my lime and it's even squeezed juice out of the skin. So I get like the essential oils that are in the skin. Now I found that my guacamole does not typically go brown right away if I put in the Greek yogurt in our recipe. And unfortunately, I have already used my Greek yogurt today, so I don't have any. So I'm not going to be adding some. And though pretty much my guacamole is done, we just followed the recipe on the jar, easy peasy. It will sit there now, and by the time our chicken's cooked, it'll be full flavor. So that's all that there is involved with that. Okay, so now, Sandy, you were mentioning that you loved salsa. I would love if you would mind coming up here and trying out our knife and chopping up our tomatoes for us. Now, I want to show you, this is a ceramic knife. I know it's kind of weird looking because it's black, but it's a beautiful ceramic blade. And even, you know, tomatoes are the test, right, of a great knife. So these just slide, like it just slides right through the tomato. Hopefully you can see how amazing and smooth that is. So I would just sort of demo to my person that's going to take over sort of the size that I'd like, because I find sometimes if I don't, I might end up with my tomatoes maybe like these great tomatoes being cut once. And that will be a little bit big, right, for the average person for the tomatoes. So that's how come I demo. And then of course, as she's sitting here cutting these, I'd be talking about something else. So I'll talk about something else at the same time. Hey Helen, get on my call list, girl. We'll get you booked in if you can't find it the other way. So I'm gonna imagine somebody's cutting these and that they're happening. So I would be saying something like, now, how many of you met me a few years ago when I was a bit heavier? I've actually lost 70 pounds with Epicure's Good Food Real Results. Hey Tara, I was just putting your name on a slide today. You've got some conference bucks coming to you, my dear. I love it. Okay, so the Good Food Real Results is our healthy eating plan. Now, what I love about this, you're gonna find it on page, I'm not sure what page. I don't have my catalog here that has all my page numbers turned down. Okay, you're gonna find it on page 10 and 11. This is the best deal for our hosts. So check this out. This is our collection of everything you need to make 100 delicious recipes. Now, I really think of this as a recipe book, but it's really so much more. It's a meal planner, it's a healthy lifestyle guide. There's all this fascinating science in the beginning that explains how the meal plan works. And then there's 100 and some amazing, fast, easy recipes. So I just want to tell you, the company had invited about 70 of us to test this plan. And I even emailed the CEO and went, you know what, like, you just want me to eat? Like, eating is how I got overweight. So you asking me to eat, you know, and to eat a very restricted, what I thought, restricted way, I was not into. And I messaged her and said, no, like, food isn't the answer. Going to the gym or having a really restricted diet or, you know, whatever, I thought that was the answer. So anyway, I whined and complained. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm in. So we needed to eat exactly following this meal plan. We had to commit for 100 days. And I was like, oh my God, I'm such a foodie. I really love food. This is gonna be awful. And it wasn't. I was so surprised. It was fantastic. At the end of the 100 days, I lost 40.6 pounds. My energy was through the roof. My hair was great. My skin was great. My nails didn't have weird lumps in them anymore. And I was like, oh, apparently food is the answer. So that's what I learned about the Good Food Real Results. And what I really loved is that I ate larger meals than I'd ever eaten before. I was like, wait, I'm eating more food and I'm smaller and I have more energy, this thing rocks. So I love the Good Food Real Results plan, and what I love is that as a host, you can half price any single thing in this catalog. So you find the $200 cookware collection, half price it. You can get this collection, and I find that even people that don't have any weight to lose love the Good Food Real Results because it's a healthy eating, balanced meals. They know that they can cook any recipe and feel fantastic, and that they're giving their family a healthy meal. So for our hosts, this is, you'll see right here, $160 worth of products, and our hosts are going to be able to get that for like $62. Like that's crazy. So check that out in there. So anybody having your own class, you can totally do that. Now, our Poco Salsa Mix, it says on the bottle, and look, my spoon goes in my bottle. The Poco Salsa Mix says 2 tablespoons per cup. And though I find that's kind of a little bit warm for some people, because it's kind of medium on a Mexican scale. So I would recommend you start with about half for your salsa and simply add more if you need it. Now, a delicious fresh salsa is always divine when we add a little cilantro. And so if you love cilantro, when you make your fresh salsa at home, feel free to add some cilantro with it. One of my best friends in this company, who's also named Dana, actually started her business because she loved the salsa mix and needed to know how to get more. Don't you love that? Okay. So basically our salsa is made, our guacamole is made, and now we're just going to finish off our chicken. So we've got our chicken. I'm just gonna, because I thawed this, it's got some moisture in it, so I'm just gonna pour that off. So we've poured off our moisture. Of course, normally I wouldn't be doing that at the class because we would have had it all cut up and ready in advance. So I'm going to chop up my pepper. Now I'm going to show you how I like to cut a pepper. There's lots of fantastic videos. Gordon Ramsay has one as well. My daughter is the person that takes her pepper. She cuts a cut here, maybe one there, and then it's like this skeleton with tons of pepper left on it, and that makes me a little bit crazy. So I like to cut my pepper like this, then I just pop my top off, and I have got this whole piece that I can use. There's no wastage there. And then for my base, I like to pop off my bottom, and then you can see I've just got this. I'm going to go in with my knife, and I'm basically just going to cut where those little white attachment pieces are. And there, I have got a beautifully cut, cleaned pepper. All that sort of weird white bit that nobody likes to eat is gone. I'm just going to throw that to the dogs because it's one of their favorite parts. They love peppers. If you haven't fed peppers to your dogs, they will. Mine actually interrupted an Epicure Live because I was cutting peppers and they could hear me and they loved peppers. So that's how we're going to get a whole lot of pepper out of one pepper, and we're not going to have any wastage. And you can see how this knife just goes right through that. Now, anybody has any questions, feedback, ideas, please feel free to share. I love knowing that there's people actually out there. And I love that you got a new idea, Rose. Now, I also want to talk to you about guacamole. When you have avocados, you know, avocados are one of those hit and miss, right? You want to find a ripe avocado. You might have to plan a week in advance, like I did to have the ones for today. So what I love, when avocados are plentiful and cheap, I make my guacamole and I put it in the freezer. It does not turn brown. I usually make 6 or 7 avocados at a time, maybe even more. Sometimes I've done entire bags. And I put it in the freezer just in small containers, maybe a 1/4 cup, the amount that my family would eat to have a quick meal, right? So we don't have to plan ahead. All we need to do is take the guacamole out of the freezer and let it thaw for a little bit and we're ready to go. Now you can see there that I just sprinkled. If you're not a sprinkler, there's a recipe on the jar, there's a recipe on the card. You don't need to freak out and think, oh my God, I don't know how much to sprinkle, but if you're a sprinkle cook, go for it. So that's how I cook, so I'm just gonna sprinkle. And we're just mixing our chicken and our peppers together, and I know you're probably thinking, but they take different amounts of time to cook. I don't understand it, but some sort of magic that when I put them both in the steamer together, they cook together. Now at home, a lot of times I might have my rice going in my steamer and I'm probably frying my fajitas on the stove, but I want to show you that even in the steamer, the chicken doesn't go tough and rubbery, because I know that's usually people's feeling about cooking in the microwave, right? We reheat. I don't know how come we think reheating is different than cooking, and it is different when it's not in a steamer, but in a steamer it's kind of the same. When you cook, you're not going to make rubber meat, you're going to make delicious, tender, juicy. So we're going to put this in for we're going to start with 2 to 3 minutes, because I'm not sure, the chicken's partially cooked. So we're going to start with 2 and then we're going to check. I always start with less time at a host's house, right? I know exactly how long this is going to take at my house because it's written right here on my chart, but I don't know at a host's house and I don't want to overcook. So I tell people I'm going to put less time than I think it's going to take, and we're going to check it so that you can see how this works. So we've pretty much prepped our meal. So while our chicken is cooking, we're going to quickly talk a bit about the door prize that I'm offering today. So I've got a door prize today of Thai peanut stir fry. This is one of our newest products. People are going crazy for it. They cannot get enough. I'm so excited. It's one of the new additions to our Thai meal kit. And our second door prize today is General Tao. I am in love with this. I've used it on cauliflower, I've used it on chicken, I've used it as just a dipping sauce when we did a Korean barbecue. There are so many different ways to use this product, and it's just absolutely delicious. So these are both going to be part of the door prize. I've just handing out door prize slips. I invite you all to grab your pen. So while this is cooking, you don't need you to put your address and phone. You got all that on your order. So I'm just going to get you to put your name at the top, and then I'm going to walk you through the questions, okay? So question number 1, what would attract you the most towards considering an Epicure career? So you can choose any answers that fit for you. One of them being the products, right? Maybe loving the products would be enough to help you start a career like it was for my friend Dana. Maybe it's the fun and the friendship and getting out and connecting with people. Maybe it's the recognition and advancement. Like our consultants this month are earning Switch the 6 collections for having one cooking class. We've got people going to Mexico, no, sorry, not to Mexico, to Vegas soon. We've got people going off to Disney World, all expense paid vacations. There's so many great recognitions and advancement options. Income, of course. Who doesn't want to have some more money? Money is always a great motivator, whether you want to make an extra $150 a month or $5,000 a month, it's all doable with Epicure. And of course, flexibility. I know that Susan originally asked to have her class on a Friday, and I didn't do Friday classes, so she graciously switched it to a Thursday, and here we are. So take any of those that you think might work for you. Have you ever thought about starting your own Epicure or another home-based business? If yes, can you please put down what kind? Now, what would you do with an extra $400 a month? Brainstorm a little bit. What would that look like? Would you pay your bills? Would you buy a new car? Would you move to a nicer home in a better neighborhood, closer to a school? Would you put your kids in a sport that you haven't been able to afford before? What would that look like for you? And now the next question, do you work? Are you a full-time, part-time, domestic engineer, or retired? Okay, question 5. Would you be willing to set aside just 15 to 20 minutes now or another time this week to talk with me about the opportunities that Epicure offers, of course with no obligation? And so your choices are yes, no, and could be persuaded. And we're just going to check that chicken. Okay. So this is what it looks like so far. We're just going to give it a quick stir. Now, I can see, because I've got a good look at it here, that we probably need about 1 more minute, and then it will be done. Now, if I wasn't sure, I would just start with the time on the recipe card, and though, you know, but the nice thing about chicken is you just break a piece in half and you can tell right away if it's cooked. Okay, so back to our draw prize. What one thing would prevent you from being an Epicure consultant? And if there's nothing that would stop you, of course, put nothing. Now, who are the 2 people in this room you think would be a great Epicure consultant? And of course, if you think that's you, you can put that down as well. So we're going to draw 2 prizes. We're going to give a prize to everybody just for taking the time to filling out and for going through that process with me. Whoops, my wrong package. And then let's see, I've got all my forms collected. Let's see who's been down here. So we've got a vote that Terry would make a great consultant. Hey Terry, and you do make a great consultant. Okay, and we've also got another vote for Sally. All right, let's see. Okay, now we've got a vote for our hostess. Rose, you'd make a great consultant according to your friends. We've got another vote for, and then basically when it gets to the end, whoever had the most votes would be the person that got the second prize. And I would say to them, you know what? These people in the room think you'd be fabulous, and I would love to talk to you for more information. And of course, anybody that would like to have a bit more information for yourself or for a friend, please be in touch with me. Now I'm just going to tear this bottom piece off for you. I invite you to just look through this. Now, if you get, throw this piece of paper in your wallet. If you get to the point where, there's nothing left in your wallet, pull this little piece of paper out and call me and we can help you get some more money in your wallet. So that's a new sponsoring bid that we used at Vegas. I did that at a class. A few leaders have tried it and they're having great success with it. So check that out and give it a try. So pretty much we are ready to eat, and we were at 2:34. I basically talked a bunch of stuff. I told you everything you needed to know. Our food is done. I would bring it out. Now I'm just going to say to everybody, now I want to show you my trick for a corn tortilla. Where are you going? Oh. It's really cold. So these corn tortillas, are typically foldable, but basically when you fold them, that happens, right? The corn tortillas crack, everything falls apart. So I want to show you a trick with your steamer. I've got 5 tortillas, so that's going to be just over 30-40 seconds. I usually do about 10 tortillas for about 1.5 minutes. So we're going to do this for 30 seconds. I'm going to show you the difference, and we're going to put together a fajita real quick. So you can see our beautiful, delicious fajitas. Now, of course, at home, you may put more, I don't use my raw tongs, I'll use a different tool. At home, you would put more peppers, more chicken, but this is a quick one to give you an idea of the taste. So we have got that, we've got our delicious guacamole, we've got our salsa. Boom, how easy was that? So we're just gonna slide that for a moment while we do our dessert. Now, I can do the dessert now as people are starting to load their plates. They can sit there and watch. I'm going to be posting that on the page, Michelle. Good question. That was the document from home office. And here's the interesting thing, right? So what would attract you to an Epicure career? Often one of the things she said you could ask is, how come you guys thought I started? Like I didn't give my story in the beginning. I want to ask, what reasons do you guys think I started my business for? And see what they say. Because the reasons they say are usually what they would start a business for. How cool is that, right? So then you find out their why. So that's how come I don't give my story in the beginning. Okay, so we're gonna make our delicious summer berry dip mix. This is one of my favorite items that came in my starter kit. So when you say something like that, starter kit, it gets people back to, oh, that's what comes in the business kit. Sorry, my bra's really bothering me today. Okay, so our delicious summer berry dip mix. I've just got some Greek yogurt here that I'm going to add it to. You can add it to yogurt, you can add it to oatmeal, you can add it to smoothies, put it in your cottage cheese. It basically is a delicious way to make a healthier, tasty yogurt. Did you know that using summer berry dip mix cuts the sugar dramatically down from store yogurts? And what I love is instead of having like 10 different yogurt flavors in your fridge, you can actually just have one big bulk yogurt that you buy and just flavor it as you go and have lots of variety that way. Okay, so I'm just gonna put in, I don't even know, I got about 1/2 cup. See my cute little Epicure prep bowls here? These are one of the handiest things that I use in my kitchen. I always have them filled with items. I've got one holding sugar behind me. I use them when I just have a lemon or a lime that I've used half of. I would put the rest of it in my little prep bowl and pop it into the fridge. So there we have got our dip mixes. Now I want to show you, you can see how that stuff is red. Remember that Never Ever list we talked about earlier? We don't do food colorings. That's actually hibiscus flowers that gives it the red color, because food colorings are on our Never Ever list. So I love that we've got this beautiful natural way. So that's ready. People are making, so look at this. Look how soft and flexible and fantastic that is. This is the ideal way to eat a flour tortilla. Now, if you're in the Okanagan, you can go get the best corn tortillas at Latin Fiesta in Rutland Road. You get a stack of 70, it's like this tall, fresh flour tortillas for about $8. And what I love about it is that I take them home. I put them into little bundles I take them to little stacks of 10. I wrap them in saran wrap and tinfoil and throw them in the freezer. So when I want to have fajitas, I just go grab a little stack of 10 out of my freezer and let them thaw, and then I'm ready to go. So boom, look at that. We have got a delicious fajita to dig into here in mere minutes. Now I have to put this down because I'm not finished talking to you. So they're making their fajitas. I'm basically telling them about Summerberry, and I'm using my mandolin. Okay, so now I'm going to tell them, and now I'm going to show you some of the really cool slices that our mandolin can do, and then we'll use it to slice up our apples. One of the things that I love, you know what, I enjoy cooking. I don't love cooking, I really don't. What I really love is eating. I like my cooking to be fast. So one of the things I love is my mandolin. So, do they ship? Do they ship what? I'm confused. Have to give me more information, Terry. So, I'll show you a couple different slices that we can do. This is our teeny tiny julienne. This is the one that nobody wants to do by hand, right? So check this out. Look at those gorgeous little matchsticks. Think of all the things that you can do. Oh, the tortillas. No, I'm pretty sure they don't ship. So you'll be stuck with your regular grocery store if you don't live in Kelowna. So look at those adorable little matchsticks that we have just cut. That's with one blade. And then we have got our larger matchsticks. I don't know what that would be called. Large julienne. Okay, then you can see that's the other side. So basically I'm just showing people the value of the mandolin. And I would tell them, you know what, one of my favorite things to do with my mandolin is to do my salad ingredients, and it's got little hooks on the bowl, and I can just like carrots and whatever right into my salad. Okay, so then this would be my slice. So that is the thick slice. Okay, so I would just be doing the thick slice and then just maybe a quick cut in half for people to dip it into the Summerberry. I forget how good that is every time I eat more of it. Feed the rest of the apple slice to my dogs. So then I've shown them the mandolin. I just want to show you though, there's a slice in this mandolin that I'm fairly certain I cannot do at home, and most of us cannot do at home. So I want to show you this one. Paper. I have just basically cut a paper apple. So think about all of the many uses that you would use this for. For me, carrots right into a salad because they're thin. I can easily chew them and eat them right up. Okay, so that's our mandolin. That's pretty much a cooking class. I would thank everybody again. I would ask if they had any questions. I would remind them, you know, make sure you're letting me know which cooking class you've picked out to have for yourself, because we do find about half the guests in the room book their own cooking class. I usually like to say that in the beginning, because what I find that it's like people put on like the sorting hat, because they're like, oh, half the people book cooking classes. What half am I? And they start thinking, well, okay, yeah, I think I am the half that book, or the half that doesn't. But I find something like that has people thinking and getting ideas of who they are, and they're basically by the end already decided that they're having a class, which I love. Now you'll see the other things. I don't know if you can see these on the counter. This is the only other stuff I have in my kit. You can see everything I took. It's not much. I have 2 prep bowls, one that I've already used with my Greek yogurt, and I have some different teas in it, because if the hostess is going to serve tea, I sure as heck want it to be ours. I have my red garlic sand cell. I have an all-purpose salt. I would pass this around and I will tell people, you know what, we did not salt the fajitas. And our fajita seasoning doesn't really have any sodium in it. So you're gonna find that you might wanna add some salt, because the thing about Epicure is we leave the salt out and we allow you to add it. So I have some here that you can add in so you can try. So we've got the seasoning salt, and I really would invite you to pour a little tiny bit of that in your hand and taste it. It is way, way lower in sodium than a typical seasoning salt and a lot more seasoning. So it's a much better sub out in your pantry, and you're gonna find it's absolutely delicious. Once you've had that on popcorn, you won't go back. Chili lime. Now we've got some apples here. I would invite you to sprinkle a little chili lime. I don't have the right top on this. I don't have my shaker. Sprinkle a little chili lime in an apple. I would put a little plate with a little pile of chili lime on it and have people dip their apple into the chili lime. Chili lime on apple, on any kind of fruit is delicious. It's great with tequila shooters. It's great with chicken. It's great with shrimp. Yeah, we don't have it in the category sand cell anymore. We just have it in the flavors. So they are still sand cells. They are still no salt, and most things have no salt, right? So it was sort of a misnomer that we had a no salt line when most of our jars had no salt. So we've got our chili lime, and then of course I've got the fajita, but that would have been part of Switch the Six. And then I have my salt and my pepper. And that is the entirety of my kit, right? So when it's not a Mexican meal, I would pull out the Mexican box and take a different one. And that's pretty much my cooking class. I would thank my host again. I would invite her to be the very first one to make a fajita. Because of course it's her class and she's the host and she's our rock star. I would be thanking her with whatever gift I brought for her. What I've been doing this season is I got some of those Sylvie's Taste Test from last season. Nobody can get, like the garlic parmesan or the sun-dried tomato one. I'm giving those to my hosts because it's exclusive and there's no other way to get them. So that's a great idea. And or just any meal solution package you're not cooking or that's new. Maybe bring her the delicious rancheros or the chicken stew. So that's a Mexican cooking class. If you have some questions that I haven't seen yet, I will jump into them on the thread. Feel free to ask any questions now as well. And there you go. I'm pretty sure we just had a $1,000 party. Class. What do you think? Thanks, everyone. I guess you can go back to watching that game thing that's on. My kids are outside in the shop working on a vehicle, so that's what I'm going to go do. Is I'm going to go see what they're doing. They're pulling on an engine or something, and that's it. That's a Mexican cooking class, short and sweet. And my last one, like I said, had only a few people, and we topped out at over, I think, 600 in sales. Great question, April. The host brings those. So I have here. I love that question. That brings me right to what I wanted to show you. Okay. So on my menu, you find my menu in my piles. Of course, I usually have my things stacked in a neater pile because I'm not all over myself in my own kitchen and I don't have all my stations in one spot, right? Normally my stations are like spread out along her kitchen. So on my menu, it shows what ingredients the host needs. Because that way, if the ingredients are a deciding factor for her, she is knowing in advance and can make the decision that way. Now, the other thing that my menu has, and it's on the team page, the second and third pages of the menu tell you what to do. Okay, so it's like step by step. It tells you, put your spices in these spots. Yeah, the class list and host grocery list is on our team page. I will post it underneath this video so you can find it easier. So it'll say when you go to setup, putting station 1, Greek yogurt and summerberry. Station 2, salsa and guacamole and salsa. Station 3, fajitas. And then it tells you what things, when you get there, you just look at your list and go, okay, I put these things in this pile, I put these things in this pile, and then it tells you what to do. Make this, make that, do this, do that. Step by step for the entire class is there, and like feel free to refer to it because people need to know that you're not a rock star who does everything automatically. I had my page right here, and you know what? It's totally fine to go, oh my gosh, hey, check this out, and refer to it because then somebody in the room goes, oh my gosh, she has a list she refers to. I could do that job too. Right? So that's why I'm giving you a beautiful little list. so that you can show everybody else how easy it is to do this fantastic job. So as a brand new consultant though, I highly recommend you stick to Good Mexican. Good Mexican, do like a full month. Do your first 8 classes even until you start getting into repeat groups. Do all Good Mexican, because then you master that. And really good Greek is almost the same ingredients. You just like making tzatziki, right? You're pretty much doing very similar thing. So if you can master one, I do have a menu that's done up, that's a new consultant menu that has just the Mexican on it as well. So that helps you narrow your host down to just that meal kit. So I'm gonna go hang out with my kids for a bit, and when I'm done with them, I'm gonna go take some food, right? They know when to show up. That was a happy accident today, because they don't live here anymore, that's what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm gonna go hang out with them, and then I'll put a bunch of links in the thread here, and don't forget about our Mexican challenge this month. So when you do a Good Mexican class, post it in the comments. I'll link that thing as well. Post in the comments 2 Good Mexican classes. You're in a draw. You do 4 Good Mexican classes, or a total of 6. You're getting a guaranteed Mexican meal kit coming your way. There's a bunch of other things. I can't wait to see your simplified Mexican photos. I guess I should take one of this right now. That reminds me before I'm finished up. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. And don't forget, 6 o'clock tomorrow, you're going to tune in for disc training. That's going to be done on Zoom. The Zoom meeting ID, 250-681-3262. You just open Zoom on your laptop or your phone or your tablet and put in the meeting ID and join me at 6 p.m. and be ready to sort of figure out your personality style and how to work with others better than you ever have before. Bye, everyone.